about ourselves and our ability comes true for us. And that quote was by Susan L. Taylor, who is a journalist. She was actually the editor in chief at Essence magazine for many, many years and has started charities and has books that she has written. And her mom is of Trini parentage, like I was or am. And I actually am a Trini as well. So, whatever we believe about ourselves and our abilities comes true for us. Well, let me sprinkle a flavor on this one. So, let us use Miss Taylor's example. Say you actually did go to school to become a journalist, but you didn't get a lot of encouragement as you went along. You got fairly good marks, but you didn't really believe in your own abilities. But somehow you landed a job in a really, really great magazine. And you are doing okay, but every day you go home and you think, oh my gosh, what if they find out that I'm not really a good journalist? And every day you go to work thinking, I'm not really a good journalist. I don't know how I got this position. One day they'll find out that I don't really believe and I don't belong here. So how long do you think it will be before they say to you, Cheryl, you're a nice person and all, but your work is really slacking and we thought that you had such great potential, but you don't, like, you're not showing any signs of improvement, so we're going to have to let you go. And then you would be right because you would think that they would find out and then they would let you go. So you literally perpetuated the thing that you thought about in your head because you thought that you didn't have the ability to be the journalist that this magazine deserved. We've done that so many times. Let me give you a few examples about myself. Excuse the barking dog in the background. So I moved to the island of Tobago, and while I was there, I exercised to make sure that I was able to move because I had been in an accident years ago and I was determined that I was going to walk somewhat normally. So every morning I would get up and I would exercise. I would walk around. There's a little field near where I was living. And then in the evening, I would walk and I would give myself a certain amount of time. I didn't walk necessarily as long as I walked in the morning, if I walked in the evening. And if I walked a little in the morning, I would walk longer in the evening. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I didn't walk long both times. I walked short and then long. And I have a friend in Tobago, and she is a fitness instructor as well as massage therapist. And one day she was going to help me with some toning. And the first thing she made me do when I went into her gym, let me go back a little bit. I would see myself in the shadows as I was walking, and I would just be like, these shadows are kind of strange in Tobago. I don't understand them. Anyways, so I used to not, like, I would see my shadow and not believe my shadow. So anyways, I go to her gym and she's like, come back here. And I was like, where's she taking me in this back room? Like, what's going to be back there? And she takes me to the back room and she's like, step on that. And I was like, no, I hadn't stepped on a scale for a while, since before I had done a physical while I was in Canada, and my doctor had shown me my weight, and I was just like, I was even heavier than after I had my babies, and that was because I was not as mobile because of the accident. So she made me step on the scale, and I started to cry. I started to cry, and she's like, what happened? I said, I didn't know I was that weight. I had lost 50 pounds. 50. And I didn't believe that I had lost that much weight because I never stepped on a scale. I didn't believe the shadow, and I just didn't believe it. Well, fast forward, I went to Africa for a while, and while I was there, I again didn't believe that I had lost all that weight. I gained a good bit of it back, and the pain as well. So while I was there, I had to start believing in myself again and walking and going forward and making sure that I had everything that I needed to get back to what I call my Tobago tight size. And I kept doing it, I kept doing it, I kept doing it day in, day out. And it would have it that I had to come back to Babylon. And the first thing that somebody said when they saw me was, "How did your legs get so skinny?" You have to know that it's not a person who would give me major compliments. So I got back to the Tobago tight because I believed in myself and my ability to shed the size. I don't call it necessarily weight loss, I call it shed the size. So when I stepped on the scale, I was actually 5 pounds less than when I had the Tobago tight, and I only had another 15 pounds to get to my goal weight. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I am continuing with my Tobago tight mentality because that is what got me to the size that I am now. I'll give you another example. All through my life, I used to make people laugh. And people would say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so funny." I had an insight to do something specific, and this was a method to create an income. Well, I didn't want to do that because I thought it was flimsy and, well, I didn't think that it was something that was spiritual, let's just say. So I put it on the back burner years and years, and I've tried to pull up other things to make an income, and they have not actually done very well. And I finally got a revelation that this particular thing that I was supposed to do can help so many people be happy. So one day I sat myself down and I just made myself do what I wanted to do. And in a short space of time, I had gotten out so much stuff. And it hit me that I had been sitting on this particular talent when I could have been generating an income from it. So I now realize that I was given this ability to help people smile and become happier and have a good day. Let's just put it that way. It's not necessarily something I'm going to be sharing publicly. It's going to be through a faceless method, but it is something that I had to realize this is an ability that I have, and it's there. People have been telling me for years and years and years. I would go to networking events, and people would be like laughing their heads off, and they'd just be like, "I didn't realize you were so funny." So I am using that talent because it's an ability that I have, and I now believe in myself. I believe that I have this ability. So, how do we strengthen abilities or a thought that we have? Because beliefs go back way to our childhood sometimes, and we have to work on breaking those beliefs. So, one way I use is meditation. I meditate on whatever it is that I'm trying to bring into my existence. And I do this by listening to meditative music in the background, 432 megahertz or 888 megahertz, while I am thinking on the thought that I want to bring into my existence. I also do number two, repetition. I repeat things over and over again until it sticks in my brain. Our brains need to have a new neural pathway rewired. And if we were saying something like, I am always broke, I'm always broke, I'm always broke, our mind thinks that we're always broke. So now we have to rewire our brain into saying, I always have money coming in. I always have money coming in. Money comes to me quickly and easily. Money flows to me. I am a money magnet. And we have to keep repeating those things over and over again until it becomes a new normal for us. So, two ways are meditating and repeating an affirmation over and over again until it feels normal. The best times to repeat affirmations are first thing in the morning and just before you fall asleep. So I also do the whisper method for this. Sorry about the shaking. I do the whisper method for this, and I will lay and I will whisper, I am a size 10, or I blah blah blah, and I'll whisper it over and over and over again until it feels like a normal for me. And I'm telling you, these things get into our psyche, and when we know it's sunk in is when we're washing the dishes or doing whatever, and instead of saying, "Oh my gosh," blah 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 blah, we're saying, "I eat healthily. I weigh 150 pounds. I blah blah blah." Whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your existence. When you find yourself saying that over and over again instead of the negativity, you know that it has sunk in and that it will eventually become a reality for you. So, the two things, getting meditation, and you can even record yourself with the meditation music. There's a lot of meditation music on YouTube, and then repeating an affirmation over and over again. Those are the two ways that I use to help a new belief system to get embedded in us. So that's it for today. I am hoping that this was helpful for you. Again, whatever you believe about yourself and your abilities comes true for you. So make sure that you make your belief system a good, solid one that can take you far. This is Sambuka. Remember, sprinkle your flavor wherever you go, but remember to make it a sweet one.